Alright, you guys, a lot of people nowadays, they want to live off the grid. They will live in their own vans. They want to live on their own in the smallest means possible. So I figured there's this dude, I believe it's Mav. I've watched his videos, channels before. Smart dude. He lives out of his truck. Saved up a whole lot of money in the process. So I figured we can take a little watch at this together and just kind of see where it goes from there. So I love things like this. The hard part about filming it for me personally is having to go out, set up the camera, back it in. And there's just a lot more work, I guess, involved to get these shots unless you have multiple cameras, and it doesn't have to be. But great start. I'm wondering what he's going to do. I think we're all thinking the same thing. So I think this is his house now. I'm watching him a lot, but I have a feeling this is his place or his parents' place, one of the two. But see, he just lives out of the back of his truck. It's nothing fancy, just an F-150. It might be 250. Just goes to show you that you don't really need much to get started. You really just need to have an idea and then just kind of run with it. Figure it out as you go. I believe he just goes around with the GoPro all the time. It's actually quite smart with what he does.
Come as a surprise to some of you, but I do enjoy from time to time playing some video games, especially Fart Night. When I am home, Marie and I religiously play. So tonight, I'm proud to say that, fingers crossed, I'm going to be able to play my first game of Fortnite in the back of the truck.
See, if you have an idea, just run with it. You'll figure out the rest as you go. Yeah, it might be uncomfortable going in the store with the camera, but hey, I mean, the dude's making it work.
Oh, Lord.
That's the cool thing, too, is like, this dude cooks way better than I ever did. The only big issue about just living out of your van is...
Alright, you have a great
Thank you,
night.
you too.
Fitness, I feel like would hinder because you're always on the road, you're always going from different places, you're never constantly there, and big thing for me is the gym, so...
Actually, really cheap for a monitor. This isn't sponsored, by the way, it's just a product I bought. Whoa! See if I can plug this thing into some...
I always find it interesting how you have to say that things aren't sponsored whenever you have them in your videos. I get it, but still.
Because I know people mount those, like, roof systems into here, so...
This is the crazy part. He has no idea if this will work or not, but he's like, I'll just try it
Don't turn it back now.
and hope for the best.
Look at that. I'll leave a link to this specific unit in my description. Now, the main thing I'm trying to use...
What he was just in there, leaving a link in the description. Smart. He's probably getting a very small percentage, depending on where it's from. Smart marketing.
Walmart parking lot, because I thought I was going to have Wi-Fi in here for some reason. I just checked and I don't have Wi-Fi, so I'm going to be dealing with screaming people and burnouts in the parking lot for no Wi-Fi, but that's alright. I have really good signal here, so I'll be able to hotspot off of my phone.
Probably could be Walmart stereotyping, but stereotypes exist for a reason. I'm telling you, this dude makes dope food in the back of his truck. So if you ever have had the idea that
The recipe calls for baguette, but they didn't have any, so here we are using French bread, which is like pretty close, just not quite the same.
you can learn how to cook really, really simply.
Still yummy.
A couple of ingredients.
That's how you know a knife's sharp right there. Ready? Not serrated. Wild.
So you really don't need much. Make some pretty good food. I mean, yeah, he's a little burnt, but each their own.
Not the best job, not the worst. Also, I never
It's
understood why
crazy.
people cry when cutting onions. I must have just not got that gene. Maybe I'm just not human.
I'm right there with them now. Chop onions up all day, no issue. Dude, I'm telling you, you don't need much. A lot of people out here think you need everything in the world to survive.
Caramelize the onion.
Really don't. Like, yeah, you can work for great things, but you don't need to have every last thing. Like this dude,
Caramelizing stuff, you want to be on low heat.
multi-millionaire.
This is probably going to take me roughly a half hour just to do this step.
No doubt
We got to do it right.
whatsoever in my mind. But this is what he does. This is what he enjoys. This is what makes him happy. So this is what he continues to do. Doesn't have to.
I'm using a cast iron pan right now because if I was using like a regular non-stick, it would get far too hot to be able to caramelize onions on this little propane stove. Lots of butter, thick pan, low heat, as low as I can go.
It's really cool to see. It's the same thing with Alex Honnold. He's one of those other neat characters.
So good. Smells even better.
People that don't do it for the money usually make a lot further than the people that do it for the money. Do it because you love it, not because you're getting paid to do it. You continue to do it more than anybody else would.
Don't you just hate it when... Alright.
Dude, like I'm telling you, the dude knows how to cook. And see, we're all over here eating frozen food. Dude's cooking a fucking meal in the back
Dude,
of
this
his truck
smells so good.
in a Walmart parking lot. What's your fucking excuse?
Does it get any better?
Unreal, bro. Okay, I wouldn't put the bread in there, but the bread is just gonna get all soggy. And you get enough cheese.
Alright, because I don't have a broiler, I had to bring the
Alright.
the broiler to me. See if this
Talk to you
works
soon.
without blowing myself up.
See how he's filming that? Just a little GoPro in the mouth.
Look at that madness. Absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, he made French onion soup. Pretty sure. If you've never had that, it's pretty good.
If I do say so myself, this look bussin'. Gruyere cheese, some Parmesan, brother. French onion soup.
That was right.
Oh, that feels naughty. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's bussin'. Oh, that's bussin'. Oh, that's so good. This might be one of the better things I've ever made in my truck. I love French onion soup.
Looks
Such
like
a good comfort food, dude.
Good, great thing to make. In
That's
your
amazing.
I was finding it funny
No
saying
oven, no problem, bruh.
bussin', because you went right back to all this is good.
Let's get my game set up.
Try to say these new slang words to keep up with
Well, it
everybody
worked.
else. But at the end of the day, we go back to what we know best.
It works. I bought a, this thing's called like a Raspberry Pi, so it allows you to use a controller on your Nintendo Switch, right? You just plug it into a USB.
My buddy told me about Raspberry Pis.
Alright. First game in the truck.
Really good for video
Whoa.
games.
I've been like kind of fantasizing about doing this for a while, like putting a monitor in here and being able to do some of this stuff on the road, but I've always been hesitant because as much as I wanted to do that, I also really enjoy having like simple stuff and like reading and whatnot. And
There's no wrong. You start to incorporate too much technology and video games, any sort of activity that may not be as productive as it would be, start to go down holes that maybe you didn't want to go down to begin with, because it's harder to get out of that hole than it is to get into it. And it's harder to get back into reading than it might be to stop playing video games.
I was like, you know what? It's just fun. I just like it.
Gotta get your chocolate milk.
The diesel heater's broken. Oh, this is definitely taking some getting used to not having the controller together. I'd probably be a little bit better if I had my Xbox controller, but maybe not by much.
Because that's where we leave you at, you know? If you want to go do something, you can go do something. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Just gotta do what you can.